Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited about your art project today. It has many different ways you can make it, okay guys? You don't have to do it exactly the way I make it. You have multiple choices. It's up to you. Alright, so you should have just watched a video. It was a book called The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. You might remember this from last year. We celebrate Dot Day. Dot Day is just the day in art where everybody makes artwork out of dots. And so I figured, why not combine dots with our names for our 4th and 5th grade project. Alright, here is my example of what I made for you guys. There are several things you can do differently from me. Your name obviously is going to be your own name. If you choose to put your name inside the dot, that's totally fine as well. You can use different kind of block letters. I use square block letters. If you want to not include your name at all, that is fine, and you just take a plate and draw the circle of the plate and then color it in. I also used value on the edges. I made it really dark near the center, and then as it came out I let it fade, and that's how I got this really cool black circle around the outside. Alright, I'm going to explain a lot more in detail in this video. Let's go to it. Alright, so I've got my materials laid out. You're going to need a piece of paper. This can be any kind of paper at all. It can be manila paper, white paper, striped paper, does not matter. You're going to need a plate. This is actually a small plate. This is a kid's plate. You're going to want something small like that, not a big dinner plate. A pen and a pencil, a ruler. You're going to need something like a milk lid, something to help you draw circles, a cup that has a small bottom and a big top. Here's an even smaller thing. This is a lid for a lipstick, and you're going to need something to color with. It does not have to be color pencils. It can be markers or crayons or paint or anything at all you have at home. Alrighty, so step 1 is to use a pencil around the outside of the plate. So we're going to draw a quick circle around the outside of the plate. Oh good, we can see it. Alright, then step number 2, I want you guys to write your name in block letters, but you are going to have to do a little figuring out spacing. So this is where you get to be creative. Think about your spacing. Do you want your name to be all inside of your dot, or do you want your name to spill on the outside of your dot? If you have a shorter name or a word that you're putting in here, then a shorter one might be good inside the dot. A longer one might be good outside the dot. I want mine to go a little bit outside the dot. So I'm going to draw some guidelines. This is how tall I want all my letters to be. You have a choice to make here. Do you want it to be all capital letters, or do you want it to be capital and lowercase? So right here, I want them to be all capital letters. So I'm going to use my block letters, and I'm going to write my last name of O'Keefe. So I'm going to keep them square letters to make everything different from the round circle. There is my O, and I would erase this little part here and this part here. Now I need my K. Okay, now it's time for a little erasing. Anywhere that I've got lines going through my letters, I want to erase. My little guideline I want to erase as well. So this is where you can take your pen and you can go back and make things darker. I need to turn my paper a little bit to do this the best way possible. All right, there we go. Now I've got everything lined. I am going to not use my pencil for the next few steps. If you guys want to continue using your pencil, that is fine. Now remember those other objects I had at the beginning? We had a cup, a lid, and a little makeup lid. Inside your circle, not outside your circle, inside your circle, we're going to make lots of overlapping circles. If we hit the name, we're going to stop and we're not going to draw lines through the name. We're going to leave the name nice and white. Okay, so right here, I can have it come out of my circle a little bit. Once I hit the name, I stop in between and come down and around. And voila, now the circle is behind the name. I can do that with a big one too. Remember, I want overlapping. So these can overlap each other, but once I hit the name, I stop in between. Ooh, this is hard to see. And around. So then I can go back and I can fill this in whenever I need to. And I'm just going to keep going around with big and little circles using both ends and this one too, and the lid, and fill it in with a bunch of overlapping circles. Let's do a little fast sorting. Okay, so I am satisfied with the number of circles. If you want to have less circles than I have, that is totally fine as well. Okay, if you want to stop here for today and make the next step for another day, that is totally fine. If you want to go ahead and continue to color, this is where I'm going to continue to color. But as I always say, I want you guys to have a theme in mind. Do you want to do it rainbow? Do you want to do it your favorite sports team? Do you have favorite colors? What I am going to do is I'm going to keep it in the blues, purples, and pinks. So I'm going to pull out all of my blues, my purples, and my pinks, and I'm going to organize them. Alright, so I have just organized all of my pencils. You're probably not going to have the variety of pencils that I have. You might just have a 10-pack. Just choose whatever colors make you happy. So I'm going to start off with this medium, and I'm just going to color slowly around all the edges of my circle. And then once I have all my edges filled in, now I can go back and I can do a mass coloring. And this is how I get a nice smooth color everywhere without going outside of the lines. So now I want to go into a purple, do the exact same thing, get my edges first. And then after I get my edges, I want to always color in the same direction. I'm going slowly. I'm using the side of the pencil, and I'm filling in the color. And then you can go back over the same area again to darken it up. And that is just best practice for coloring. For a smaller area, sometimes I'll just cover the whole thing with pencil, just making sure I go slowly. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here is my finished circle with my name not colored in. If you want to take it one more step forward and be just that much more extra, you could add like a really cool shadow effect around the outside where you make sure you don't get your name. Let me show you how that works. I'm gonna grab a black color pencil. Okay. So when we're close to the circle, we're going to color hard, and as we get further away from the circle, we are going to color light. Alright, I am done adding my extra circle around the outside. I'm going to show you guys it up a little closer. There you go, you can see all my pencil marks. Alright, so if you do not want to add the black circle, you do not have to add the black circle. If you are unsure about the name across your dot, you can leave the name out as well. Here is one of my trials I did without the name. Okay, so you can just do your dot without the name, and you can do your dot without the black. If you want to push yourself and take it to the extreme awesomeness, go ahead and add those extra things in. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention while filming. If you want to use a pencil to draw the dots and then erase out all the lines from your names, you can do that too. Alright guys, happy creating!
Happy creating!